Today we're going to continue working on using strategies to multiply. So please make sure you are in your math book on page 255 and turn to that page if you're not yet. You can pause the video if you need to get it out to get ready. Let's look at our I can statements. I can use different strategies to solve multiplication problems. I can also look for patterns to solve problems. So we're going to read a word problem together today. I want you to read it with me, and then we're going to solve using multiplication. Alfredo has 3 bags of oranges in each hand. Each bag contains 5 oranges. How many oranges does Alfredo have? Solve this problem any way you choose. They give us a clue down here. It says you can use structure, look for relationships when using counters, drawing, skip counting, arrays, or known facts to help solve the problem. Show your work in the space below. So I'm going to go back to my problem, and I want you to do this too. We're going to underline the important numbers. We know he has 3 bags of oranges in each hand. And then in each bag, there are 5 oranges. So I'm going to draw a picture to help me solve this, and you can draw along with me. So let's look back at the top. Alfredo has 3 bags of oranges in each hand. I know he has 2 hands, so I know he has 1, 2, 3 oranges in one hand, 3 bags of oranges in one hand, and then 1, 2, 3 bags of oranges in another hand. And then I look back at the problem to check each bag contains 5 oranges. So I'm going to write 5 for each of these bags. Now I could count up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Or I can think of a multiplication problem. I know I have 6 groups with 5 in each group. 6 times 5 I know is 30. And we know that our label will be oranges. We know he has 30 oranges in all. Let's turn the page. Give us another example using sharks. A scientist on a boat is studying hammerhead sharks. The length of 6 hammerhead sharks lined up nose to tail without gaps is equal to the length of a boat. How long is the boat? We can use drawing, skip counting, tools and properties, operations, and strategies to solve this. So we have to look at our label down here. An adult hammerhead shark is 5 yards long. So they used a bar diagram, 6 times 5, because they know each hammerhead shark is 6 lengths. The length of 6 hammerhead sharks is the length of the boat, and for each hammerhead shark, it's 5 yards. So we're going to do 6 times 5, means 6 groups of 5. We're going to skip count by 5 to get 30. The boat is 30 yards long. Another way we can think about it, think about the distributive property. They did 2 times 5 and 4 times 5. To get 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 5 is 20. Then they added those up. 10 plus 20 equals 30. The boat is 30 yards long. Let's look at the bottom. How can knowing the product of 5 times 6 help you solve 6 times 5? Remember, we think about our commutative property of multiplication. It tells us that if we have 5 times 6, that will be the same as 6 times 5. So if I know 5 times 6 is 30, we know 6 times 5 will be 30. Let's turn to the page. What 2 known facts can you use to find 3 times 5? So we did this a while ago, but remember, if we have 3 times 5, that tells us there are 3 rows with 5 in each row. So I know 3 times 5 would be the same as something times 5 plus something else times 5. So I know there's going to be 5 in each row. So I could do 1 row of 5 and 2 rows of 5 to get 3 rows of 5. To check, we know 3 times 5 is 15. We know 5 times 1 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. So 5 plus 10 would be 15. Number 2, how could knowing 7 times 5 equals 35 help you find 9 times 5? So if we know 7 times 5 is 35, we know we just need to add 2 more groups of 7 to get 9 groups of 7. So we can do, 2 more groups of 5 to get 9 times 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. So we can just add 35 plus 10 to get 45, and that would let us know what 9 times 5 is. On this side, I want you to try numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pause the video, and when you're ready to check, you can play the video again. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 5 is 20. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 4 is 4. And 9 times 8 is 72. At the bottom, we can do these together. 5 times 5, it was 25. You can draw a picture or use your multiplication chart to help you on these. 9 times 2 is 18. Make sure you're writing them in with me. 5 times 9 is 45. 45, whoops. 5 times 9 is 45. 8 times 7 is 56. 3 times 6 is 18. 8 times 4 is 32. 10 times 4 is 40. 7 times 6 is 42. 6 times 5 is 30. 2 times 8 is 16. 9 times 0 is 0. 10 times 6 is 60. 4 times 9 is 36. 9 times 7 is 63. 4 times 6 is 24. 5 times 8 is 40. And 10 times 1 is 10. Let's look at the back. On this side, we're just going to go down to the bottom and do 30 and 31. So how counted the number of fish in 3 fish tanks? There were 7 fish in each tank. How many fish were in the 3 fish tanks? So I know I have 3 tanks. I'm going to draw a picture to help me with this one. And I'm going to go back to my word problem to check how many are in each. There are 7 fish in each. So I can think about 3 times 7. I know 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 3 times 7 is 21. So I know there's 21 fish all together. Number 31. Bob is starting a sports card collection. He buys 5 packages of sports cards with 9 cards in each package. Which of the following does not show a way to find how many cards Bob has? So we know there's 5 packages with 9 cards in each. Let's look at A. We have 9. That's 9. That's 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups. So we know that one would work. So we know that one we would not circle that because they want to find out what does not work. 4 times 5 and 5 times 5. That would also give us 45. So we know that one would work. 5 times 9 equals 45. So 9 times 5 equals 45. That would work. 9 times 2 times 5. So I can think about 9 times. And remember, when we have these parentheses, that means do that part first. 9 times 10 does not give us 45. So D would be correct because that is the way you would not show it. Your job, remember they just give you examples at the top, but on page 259, I want you to do numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So do all on this page. And then on the back side, number 9, 13, 14, and 15. And if we look back up at 9, this one's a little tricky. So it says the home team scored 3 touchdowns. The visiting team scored 4 field goals. Which team scored more points? So we have to make sure we use this chart. We have to think about how much is a touchdown worth? How much is a field goal worth? And figure out which team scored more. When you are all done, please send me a picture on Seesaw or have your parents email this to me on the front and the back. Thank you.